Hi, Janice. How are you?
Hi, how are you? I'm doing great.
I'm
Yeah,
good, thank
wonderful
you.
afternoon over here. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm fantastic, thank you. Looking forward to this Insta Live takeover that Love Live has asked us to do.
Mhm.
It is part of the hashtag Kebuphelo live series. So we're going to be talking about all things digital, how to get into the digital industry and how to stay in, I guess. So maybe before we go any further, let's just speak a bit about you. Who are you? What do you do? Just so that everyone who's tuned in, gets to know you a bit better.
Great. Firstly, I would like to appreciate everyone who is joining this Twitter space. My name is Janet Machuka, and I am from Kenya. And I'm a digital marketer who has been practicing it for the past 5 years. So I think I have the best experience I can share with you guys. So I offer community conversations on Twitter, and I think that is where most of the people know me from. On Instagram are there, but most of the time I try to engage it from a point of a lifestyle point of view. And then I also own an agency. I co-own an agency with my partner where we provide digital marketing services for brands and also help people to grow, especially individuals and small businesses in the digital marketing space. I can't forget to mention the Africa Teachers community, which is the largest Twitter community where I engage with people, I connect with amazing people from South Africa, Nigeria, and across the world. And what we're doing at the moment is building an e-learning education platform where people can be able to learn and get the experiences from people like me, people like you, and so many other people who actually understand this space and have the experience. That's the bit about me, but I think through the conversation I'll be able to share a lot about myself and my journey and everything.
Sure, that is absolutely fantastic. So to everyone else who's also joining us, thank you so much for joining. My name is Qhakaza Mohare, and I am the COO at Digify Africa. So Digify Africa is all about digital skills training. We run programs in South Africa, in your home country, Kenya, and also in Nigeria. I have been in the digital industry since 2009. So, yeah,
Wow.
that's quite a while.
Yeah,
of,
must be
yeah,
common. Recorded
that's
nine for other
fantastic.
people in other countries. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to joining you in this conversation. I'm really keen on finding out, how did you get into digital? How did you begin?
Oh, interesting. I think most of you maybe the ones who are joining might have heard this story. I try to add some juice all the time if I have to retell it again. I am not only a digital marketer. I did journalism. So I graduated from the School of Journalism, and that is mass communication. And in the process of me learning through, I actually stumbled on digital marketing. My first time to engage with digital as a place where I can be able to get a job and also work with people is through a media house where I was given a chance to be a social media manager. That was my first time to be introduced to that, because I thought, oh, I'm going to get done with this degree and then I'll start doing reporting. Maybe I can be an anchor somewhere or write articles for the mainstream media. But that wasn't the case, because I was thrown into the desk of social media where I could actually create the captions from the articles that have been written and then share it on social media. And then another thing that excited me about it is now the idea of traffic. People are like, oh, drive traffic to the website, traffic. I was like, okay, what is traffic? I only know about the traffic jam. And then I was like, okay, let me try and understand exactly what is this traffic. So I got that urge to want to learn more about this thing, because I was told I'm a social media manager. And then I'm like, okay, there's something called social media manager. And I'm trying to create a caption. So somebody tells me, you have to write very nice copies. I'm like, okay, copies. Let me go and do research. So all the time, and how I stumbled over digital marketing is all about somebody telling me to do something. I'm like, okay, what's that? Let me go and do research. Oh, let me try this and that. And that's how I actually started to have that interest in the digital marketing space. Now I thought of more of communities because I believe in communities personally. I believe that is a space of people who actually have a lot of experience, have a lot of ideas, have a lot of tips and everything they can teach you, or they can actually make you want to go and do research when it comes to the digital marketing space. So that's how actually my journey started, and here we are. And we've been running communities all the time and sharing with people, meeting people, and also talking to people like you. Yeah.
I mean, I love your story because I actually hear quite a bit of my own story in it, So I also studied journalism, and I thought I was also just, going to go and be a reporter, maybe go into broadcast media or so. And then in my honors year, I was introduced to something that was called new media back then. And my first job was for a newspaper called the City Press here in South Africa. Now, this is a newspaper that I grew up with as well. So it's an old school newspaper, very traditional. And they had just sort of started going online, and I was part of a very small team. And by team, I mean like myself and one other person who was now in charge of like getting all of these stories online. But it's so funny when you say that you stumbled into digital marketing, because I was an online journalist. That's kind of how I figured, I was a multimedia journalist. So I was also producing video and audio stories for the website and getting the content up onto the site. And it was only at my next job where I actually was now managing social media accounts. But even then, I didn't realize that there was an actual thing called content marketing until 10 years later, when I came to Digify Africa, and I was a project manager for Digify Pro, and one of the modules was content marketing. And I decided to just like sit in on the lecture and just hear about this content thing. And I was just like, oh, I've actually been a content marketer for very many years, I think that's the exciting thing about digital, is that as long as you're curious, you get to learn more and you get to find out more and more. Do you think... Sorry, I interrupted you there.
It's okay. I was just actually saying this, absolutely. Whatever that you're saying is actually it. You have to be curious, because most of the time we actually don't plan to be influencers, if that is the case, or content creators, or what have we. We just stumble over something and be like, okay, let me just try this, or let me learn about this. And then at the end of the day, you feel like you really need to dig deeper into it and actually be it.
Yeah. So thank you to everyone who has joined us. If you would like to be part of the conversation, add your question or add your comment, please do feel free to do so in the comment section. So now let's talk about, the digital industry. Do you think the digital industry is for everyone, or does it, require a particular kind of person to make it?
Interesting. I will actually take an example of the media, for example. Most of the time we thought that the only people who actually should be given a chance to be the journalists, the presenters, the reporters are only students who have gone through the media school. But look at how the world is. We have comedians who are actually journalists at the moment. We have lawyers, we have accountants, we have so many other people actually journalists at the moment. Maybe, most of them actually didn't even school in media, but they have that skill. They have that idea, they have that passion for the media space. So I look at digital as the same way. Most of the time, most of us actually, first of all, we got into the digital space, not thinking about the money side, not thinking about, I want to be a marketer, I want to be a content creator, but because we wanted to connect with other people, we wanted to have fun, or we wanted to, that fear of missing out was something that was, okay, I don't want to be like the only person who doesn't have Facebook, because for me, like getting into TikTok, that was the case, because everybody's like, oh, TikTok. I'm like, okay, let me try this thing. I don't want to miss out on these amazing content people are sharing. So digital industry, I feel like it's for everyone. But to get to a point that you want to do something, I think that is now a personal decision, and also a passion in something that you want. And of course, you have to make sure that you're mapping out like a plan. What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve out of this space? Because if you're getting into the space because so and so got into the space and made money, you might actually end up losing your way. on the way, or just be like, okay, I don't want to continue with this, let me just go back to whatever that I was doing. It needs people who actually are ready to learn every day, because I believe digital is a place where you can't really say that the knowledge I had 2 years is the same knowledge that I'm using right now, because you have to be very fast, you have to be very quick, you have to be very open to people, and you have to be open to learn, not just from the experts, but from every single person that you meet. Because I believe on digital, some trends actually don't come from the experts. There's some trends come from the people themselves, the people who are having the fun. And that is where you look at the social media spaces. So many platforms like Instagram, TikTok are changing how things are working for them, the features and everything, because of the users themselves. So you as a user in the digital space, what do you want to do? What do you feel like you can do every single day? Some days actually we feel tired being in the digital marketing space, because dealing with clients sometimes can be very hard. Look at this time, it's end month, and I can tell you every marketer in every agency right now, they are very agitated. Some of them are having mental pressure, but here we are. So you have to really know why you're getting into it. But the best thing to do is find the person and people who have already experienced the journey to guide you through, to tell you their story, so that you can know, am I really capable of getting into this space, or I'll just still stay in my salary kind of job or whatever that I school in campus. Yeah.
I mean, you said something really interesting, just about it being month end and everyone is now just in a bit of a state, and you just talked about the mental pressures. I mean, we know that this series is also part of a mental health awareness month series that Love Life is part of. So I'm really keen to find out from you, how do you deal with the mental pressures? How do you deal with the stress? How do you make sure that you're putting your mental health first? How do you cope with it all?
Wow, that's wow.
I mean, I'm asking you for tips here. I don't have any answers. I'm asking you to let me know.
I know, I'll share it through my journey and experiences that I've been having through and through. And one thing I'll have to tell everyone is, when you see somebody in the digital space first and you believe that they're actually doing fine and whatever they're sharing, their wins and everything, those people might not be actually okay. If I can tell you for sure, one of the most, in my month schedule and activities, I hate the last 2 weeks of the month. Not because of the salaries or because I'm going to be paid, because the mental pressure that I have to finish everything, I have to do the reports, I have to follow up on people, do the meetings, you have to think about those influencers you'll be managing to pay, the social media managers, you have a team. So sometimes you feel like you're going to break down. But we still try to often to actually show up to conversations like this one. So how do I actually deal with my mental health and the pressures that I have? Some of the times I clash with my clients, or sometimes when we're having email conversations and the clients say something that I'm like, I'm not gonna do it. Or you're like, no, I have to call them and tell them, no, I'm going to quit. But sometimes what I came to realize is we just feel it's okay to feel like that. It's okay to feel the pressure, but before you respond to anything, actually take a seat. Take 5 minutes, go feel bad, talk to yourself if you need to, talk everything, even if it's the worst words, just speak, so long as you're not telling it to anybody. Just talk, take some water, do something, and then maybe you can eat a banana if you want, or you can just take an apple and then come back to reply to that. That's one way I actually deal with my pressure, especially if I'm in between a conversation in the email. No, I'm not going to continue with this. Another thing I do is I have my team understand me actually. So many people on social media might not understand my personality deeply and whatever, and how I cope with most of the pressures, but my team does. So sometimes when I feel like this is too much, I just pick my phone and then call, and I'm like, do you have a minute? Because I'm going to have a very long conversation with you. I have to talk. Just give me time. Let me talk. And please, whatever that I'm going to say first, agree with me. Because I just want to get it off, out, so that I can feel like you actually understand. And then after that, after everything is out and I've already spoken for 10 minutes, whichever time you gave me, Now talk to me. Tell me, how am I supposed to deal with this? If it's a client, I don't have the pressure. How am I supposed to deal with it? So one thing I tell you is just let yourself to feel the pain, to feel the pressure. Look for a way to manage it. If it's somebody who has actually pissed you off, don't go straight and talk to that person. Take your time. Feel bad, cry if you need to, because that is actually, there's a reason to why you have the tears anyway. Cry. Yep. There's a reason to why you have your friends talk to them. As much as at the end of the day, some of them will be like, okay, Janet, you used to just tell me I have problems. For you, you know that is therapy for you. For you, you'll be like, okay, this is a problem. But of course, you have to make sure that you're choosing the right person, the right friend to tell all these things, because you don't want your personality to be attacked on social media, because some of them might take it and post it on social media. So you have to be very careful with that. Another way I do it is teamwork. You know, as much as you're a leader, in case you're a team leader in a space or in a community, make sure that you're actually inviting your team members, your community members to help you. Okay, don't do everything because you are the star or you are the face of the brand. You are the person who is going to represent the brand, the person, the whatever activities you're doing all the time. Open up, tell people, ask them to actually help you in something. You realize that people are ready to help all the time, and you'll actually be removing all the pressures you have. And yeah, something I read on LinkedIn yesterday. It was yesterday, yes. And then it was a very nice way of actually tackling your pressure and it, especially if you know every day you're going to have a lot of work. Start with the frog. Eat the frog first. The frog is the most important work. If it was that email, you knew this email, if I don't respond to it today, you're going to have a problem tomorrow. Start with it. And then afterwards, you follow up with other activities which are not too important. Yes, they are important, but they're not on top of the list. So every single day, try and write a list of what is a must do first, and then arrange them from the importance going down. And then one thing I love about to-do list is, yes, sometimes we feel like it's good to use Google to schedule our tasks and everything, to remind you everything. Do you know that there's nothing that is annoying and boring to me than a ringtone? Even a notification bell. I hate that. I also hate my alarms. I don't like alarms. If you can't manage that, and if you know very well you're going to destroy your day with a lot of pressure, just write things in your book. The book will never shout at you, but you can always make it your friend to actually check what is happening. But above all, make sure that you're involving people around your community. And that is why it's actually amazing to work with people, rather than just doing everything on your own. People will help you, people will grow you, people will be there for you.
Oh man, I completely agree. But it's so funny that you say the notification bell is the thing that irritates you. I think for me, that notification is the one that keeps me on track. Because it's funny what you were saying about, eat the frog first, that big thing that you maybe might not be the most exciting thing that you want to do. And usually I'll push that to the end of the day because maybe I'm wanting to do more exciting things. But that notification bell is the one that tells me that, Qhakaza, you've had enough fun with that last activity. Now you need to move on to this next task. And I have found that definitely writing down, that to-do list and then scheduling in time, because what I was struggling with was, okay, now I've got this to-do list and when do I do all of the stuff? But to sit and really plan the week, and I live by that notification, even right down to me having to take lunch, because if I don't put it in my diary, it's just not going to happen. And that really isn't a healthy way at all. Totally echo what you're saying about having a community, have people who you can speak to, have that friend. I even had a friend who I would, especially if I'm feeling like this email that I'm writing, hey, this email, it's going down in this email. I'd have to send it to a friend and be like, friend, just read it for me, edit it, and just help me say in nice English the things that I'm trying to say, and I think just taking that moment, taking a step back really does help, especially because, like you said, we're living in the world now of social media, where people can screen grab and put anything out there, so it's very important to be very you communicate and the things that you say, because you don't want them to come back to you at any point. I'm not too sure if you're still with us. It seems you're a tad frozen. Are you still hearing me? Oh, and I lost you for a second, but it looks like we're back on.
Yes, sure.
Okay, fantastic. So I mean, this is a conversation. So if you do have any questions, please do feel free to also, throw them my way. I have another one, I think, on the side here, just around internships. What do you think about? Oh, before I actually go into my question, I do see that there's a question from Toby07 on the chat. If you would also like to add in your be part of the conversation, please do add in your questions as a comment here, and we'll ask them. So the question is: do you have a mentor in the industry? Or do you think having a mentor in the industry is important? How would you look for one? So that's both to you and I. I'm going to let you answer first. If you have a mentor in the industry, and how do you go about looking for one?
Yeah, when I was starting, actually, I had to look for people that I would really look forward to and bag a lot. Unfortunately, by then I couldn't find somebody in Kenya. That is where I'm located. So I went online and then searched, and then I found some amazing women. I started chatting them. Sometimes I engaged with them because I wanted first to build a relationship to a point that they can actually realize that I exist. Then we can take our conversation to the DM. So it's okay to have a mentor, but now the world has changed, the digital space has changed. So I will appreciate if you actually look for different people who have different personalities, different things, so that they can guide you in one thing. And the best way to do it is first to network, create a relationship with them, and then take the conversation to the DM, and then request them to guide you on a particular thing that you want them to guide you on. Yeah, that's how I do it at the moment. I don't have a specific one. I have so many.
Yeah, I think mine is pretty similar, and especially, I mean, when I joined the industry, like I said, December 2008, actually, I was one of like very few journalists who had the kind of skills that I had, as well, who were multimedia journalists and really understood social media. So I found myself having to maybe mentor others or train others up. But I think what I did find very useful was. And I like what you said about finding other people in other industries, so not only looking at digital. And if I think about those first few years of me in the industry, I learned a lot from the other writers within the newsroom, from the other photographers as well who were in the newsroom. So I think for me, it's really important to have mentors or to have people who've been in an industry longer than you have, just to learn from. And then I just do a lot of cyber stalking. I will find someone I'm interested in, and I will read up just about everything that they do, follow them, like their posts, really start to engage with them, because I think echoing on from what you said, you want this person to actually realize that, oh, okay, you exist, and you engage with them. So I'm finding LinkedIn is a really amazing place to find people to learn from, even if it is people to cyberstalk, and just literally read everything that they put up. And now that I'm within my senior leadership team, I am also now looking for an executive coach. And again, I went to LinkedIn and I put it out just to say, hey guys, I'm looking for a coach. Please, can you help me? And people sent through their recommendations. I went through and checked them out. I shortlisted about the top 3 there. And then just had a call with them just to find out, how do they work? What's their process? And just to see if it works with me. And I think a lot of it was really just chemistry, I know the kind of personality I am, which, can be different from other people. So it's good to try and find someone who just understands you and the kind of person that you are.
Absolutely. And just to add on something, and I like the fact that you mentioned LinkedIn, the best way to actually find these mentors is joining communities, and especially communities that are consistent, the ones that are happening every week or bi-monthly, so that you can actually engage with these people. One thing I've learned about community is that once you're part of it, once you actually start creating the relationship with the people, they will not care about their bios, they won't care about their long experiences and how all they are. But so long as you connect with them, you give them your time, you ask them, you network with them, they'll actually listen to you. So don't care about how many followers you have to actually connect with them, experts in the field. Make sure that you are within a space where they are shared, and make yourself belong to the space, so that and engage with them constantly to a point that you can break that barrier of I am a junior and you are a senior, to a point that you can actually have a conversation.
Yeah, and I think, something you said there really has me thinking about, so a lot of the time, I think as juniors or as young people, you're kind of waiting for someone to give you a brief in order for you to start doing work, and then you find yourself not having any experience or any evidence of what you're able to do. For me, I'd just say, just start, don't wait for someone else to give you a brief. Just give yourself a brief, and I remember when I was first starting with design, I would just design posters for random parties. Like if a friend is inviting us over for dinner, I'll be like, hey, do you want me to arrange or design an invite, and this is literally just to go out to our friends, but you start challenging yourself in that way, I know I'd really loved magazine layouts, and I'd go through magazines that I really liked, and if I saw a page or a layout that I really liked, I'd then try and challenge myself to recreate that, so for me, I'd really just say don't wait for opportunities or for people to give you a brief for you to start playing around with these tools. Just randomly decide that, hey, this client, they're my client, and I'm going to create something for them. Because once you're able to then walk into an interview, you can say that, yeah, look, I've got no formal experience, but this is what I have done with my time, or I have been unemployed, but I also haven't just been sitting. I really have been keeping my mind sharp. And these are sort of the mock briefs that I've been creating for made up clients, but just to keep sharpening that skill.
Absolutely. And that reminds me of something. I know this conversation is taking another route, but I just wanted to add something. Yesterday, we were having a conversation on our Twitter space on building your portfolio online. It can be online or offline. And the one thing that I loved about the speakers and what they kept on repeating is, do something for yourself first. Learn to vouch for yourself. Start practicing something. Don't just consume the content and be like, oh, I have knowledge in digital marketing. But if we ask you to show us some of the things that you have done, can you really share? Are you also teaching people to refer you to something? And the only way you can actually teach people to refer you is to actually do things for them. Do a post and be like, oh, Janet, I did put this poster for you. We remember things that people do to us, as much as sometimes it might take long to actually give back, So make sure that you're vouching for yourself. Do something, practice, share, at the same time, teach people to refer you. That is something I learned from Tessie. I saw Tessie joining us. Tessie, hope you are here. Thank you for giving me that tip. Teach people to refer you, to recommend you, and to talk about you in rooms full of opportunities.
Love it. Tell me about internships. What do you think about internships within the digital industry? Do you think that they're worth it?
Absolutely, especially now, when you're learning digital marketing or any other component of digital marketing, be it social media marketing, web design, and all that. Sometimes we might have the knowledge, but we don't have where we can actually practice that. So internship, for me, I look at them as a chance for you to practice what you have learned and to also learn how actually the industry works. That takes me back to when I did my journalism course. A degree rather. So in class we read or learn about these amazing guidelines and everything, but when you get into the actual space, things are different, and then you're like, what did I just get myself into? So it's good to actually go through an internship so that you can really understand how things work. That is when you'll be able to define between what you have learned and what you can actually do and what you can actually do. And one thing I love about internship is that is an opportunity for you to actually learn from the experts, learn from these people. And then one thing I learned from the media house is, as much as you're under people, as much as you're in an internship, don't expect people to come and teach you something. Don't expect that. it's upon you to actually go and bother them, ask them questions, ask them something. That's the same case when it comes to mentors. Don't expect a mentor to come and tell you everything. Please make sure that you're asking as many questions as possible. So an internship is a chance for you to ask these experts an opportunity, or questions, actually questions of opportunity, so many questions about the field, so many ways. You can also give yourself a chance to provide other ideas you've been thinking all through when you are learning your digital marketing course. So an internship, I feel for me, is good. But of course, it doesn't have to be super free. Make it sure that feels like this person is learning at the same time. It feels like he's appreciated, she's appreciated for the kind of work he's doing, for the social media management, creating the content, and also digital marketing, depending on the industry that the person is.
And yeah, I mean, I think something you said now as well reminded me of one of our keynote speakers for a graduation, Joey Kubutlu, who's from the agency world. He had said that a lot of the times, when we think about interns making coffee, people could have kind of looked down on that. But for him, he was just like, if I'm making the big boss a coffee, as I hand that coffee over to her or to him, that's an opportunity for me to connect with the big boss, just to be like, oh, by the way, I thought of A, B, and C, So for me, and if I think back as well, when I was first starting out, I was so curious, man. I wanted to know everything. I was out with the photographers, I was out with the designers as well, trying to see how they put together the layouts of the newspaper, and just always putting your hand up, if there's something to volunteer for within the workplace. And I think if I look back at how I grew, even within just Digify Africa, I mean, I've been in this company for 7 years. When I first joined, I was a project manager, and now I'm the COO of the company, and for me, how that happened was, as there was opportunities for me to step into a new role or to fill a gap, I completely took it, and I think sometimes I'm also just like, but you find yourself in the weirdest positions. I remember at some point I moved from project manager into the business development team. I knew nothing about business development. I'm just like, I don't know, I'm just like a journalist really, but I was certainly up for it. And that for me has been like the key to growth, to say I might not know anything about it now, but if you're willing to teach me, I'm willing to learn, and I'm also willing to go out and find the information myself, and I think that's definitely one thing I keep telling young people who come through the program, just to say, always be curious, always put your hand up. For me, I think the first 10 years of my career was me just like laying a strong foundation, so it was about doing each and every task that I can. And if I look back now at my career, there's so much that I've been able to do because I didn't put myself in a little box to say, hey, that's not my job. I was just like, yeah, it's not my job, but I can definitely learn a new skill.
Absolutely. Just to add in that, sorry for that. Just to add is that, most of the time we wonder why some of the people, especially fellow interns, get absorbed to companies and some of them get actually let go. It's the aspect of curiosity. What have they been able to accomplish for themselves, for the people? What kind of impact have they created in the people around them? Especially the fact of asking questions, things, the curiosity bit of it. So make sure that you're actually creating relationships with whichever place that you land to be an intern. Ask them questions, build the networks, because at the end of the day, you know what? People refer people they believe that these people can actually offer and do something amazing. These people, I know if I give them a chance, they're not going to let me down, because at the end of the day, it's my name on the line. So build those relationships. Make sure that you are that 1, 2, 3 interns who are actually being absorbed to these companies.
Yeah, and I'd even say that even starts even from the interview phase. I think a lot of the time when you go in for a job interview, there's always like at the end where the people who are interviewing ask if you've got any questions, and a lot of people could be nervousness, it could just be like just being shy. A lot of people just say no. For me, that's always just like, oh, that's disappointing, but I love it when I'm interviewing someone and they've come with a list of questions. They're saying, oh, we went to the website and we saw this and I'm wondering, how does this work and all of that? Because for me, that already shows like an interest in the role. So no matter what the job is that you're interviewing for, no matter what the company is, even if you're not really interested in the answer of the question, find a question, ask them a question, because for the person who's interviewing, it just shows that you're engaged, that you're switched on, and that your mind is working even beyond the role that you're interviewing for.
Yeah, sure.
I have one more question for you today. And it really is around some of the myths or misconceptions or things that people don't actually understand about content marketing or about digital marketing. What would you say are some of the misconceptions that you have come across?
Oh, great. Being in the industry means that I've come across quite a number of them. And one of the major that I've realized most people don't really understand is digital is a space for you to actually be able to find out more. You can't be an influencer for the rest of your life. And one thing, let's talk about all the social media, especially when you talk about the influencers and people with big following. Most of the time we feel like if you reach a point, these people have so many followers to be obsolete. But again, that can be true, that cannot be true. How? If people keep on reinventing themselves and adapting to the changes in the industry, actually they are going to be there for the longest. If you're going to sit down and do nothing, we'll forget you. We will forget you as quickly as possible. So one of the things that I can tell people is don't fear getting into this process, because people say, you know what, it will reach a point when you'll be useless. You can be useless if you want to. You can be the person who is important also if you want to. And one of the best way to do it is to keep reinventing yourself. Reinvent yourself. Okay. When it comes, another thing I can say is, especially on the content marketing space, people are saying content marketing it reach a point where it will die. People are forgetting that content marketing is not just about blogging. It's not that alone. Social media has given us an opportunity to actually do the content marketing on that platforms, but only that it's in short conversations. And so I'll say that don't overlook that aspect of content marketing, saying that people no longer go to blogs to read. Honestly, I read a lot of blogs all the time because I don't have time to research some tweets which were done 2 weeks ago. And actually, it's very hard for me to find them. So where will I go next? Blogs, because I can easily get the content, I can search it and get it. So don't shy away from creating your blog for your brand, for yourself, and writing that content. And also don't forget to use social media, because social media is there to actually create the engagements. The blog is there to give people the opportunity to read the longer idea thoughts that you're going to write from now, those social media conversations.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much for those lessons. This has also been a really fun conversation. So thank you so much for making your time, and to everyone who has joined us this afternoon, thank you for joining us, and thank you to Love Life for asking us to take over their Instagram for the afternoon. This has been lovely.
I saw a question somewhere, but I think I'm trying to scroll through.
Okay, I don't have that.
There's a question I saw somebody asked a while ago.
Oh, was it a while ago? Okay, cool. I'm going to try and go all the way up to the top.
Yeah, I think we answered that. It was all about the mentors. And in case anyone else has a question, please share before we wind up.
So what are you currently working on now, Janet?
At the moment, of course, the agency, we have been trying to reach out to more small businesses, especially in the agri-tech space, because we feel like that is one of the industries that people are trying to change people's minds. That it's not a dirty space, it's not a dirty job, it's not about touching the soil all the time. There's a lot the young people can do. At the same time, we understand that drought and famine and all that is one of the major problems affecting so many people. So why not take the opportunity to teach these young people on how to use the digital spaces, and also have these conversations to reinvent some of the agri-tech solutions so that we can have more food, we can feed more people. Yeah, so we start knowing that there are more people dying every year because of hunger. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. We can be
Yeah,
the
and I
problem
think
solvers. Yeah, if we can present that opportunity to these young people and especially the farmers to learn on how to use the digital spaces so that they can be able to actually create networks, hear about what they do, and then get an opportunity to collaborate with each other. I feel this is a space for them. So digital is kind of for everyone, but for those people who see the opportunity in it.
absolutely, it's about seeing those opportunities and really jumping onto them. And I think, yeah, when we look at the continent, the agri-tech space is one that's definitely going to be growing, and can be something that could really help in boosting all of our economies on the continent. So I'll be closely following the work that you do, and yeah, wishing you all of the best with your agency and with those clients at the end of the month. Please do remember to keep your mental health primary, though, and yeah, have your network of people who are helping keeping you healthy.
Great.
Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. This has been lovely.
Thank you so much, Qhakaza.
All right, bye.
Bye.